Hi, I'm Laura Slusher with Indiana LTAP, here to talk to you today about our speed signs in our loan program. This is our older model speed sign. When you get the speed sign for your loan, you'll get 2 of these signs and a total of 4 batteries, 2 chargers. We're going to go through how to use and care for these speed signs using this one set here. So the first thing you're going to want to do when you get this is check the battery. This is one of the batteries that the sign runs off of. You're going to want to check the wires, check the connection, make sure there's no frayed wires here. This is connection here. This is the charger. You're going to want to obviously plug that in. You'll know you have power by the green light there. You connect these, and that's how you charge the battery. If it needs a charge, the red light will come on. When it's fully charged, the green light will come on. I recommend charging these overnight. You'll have a set to keep on the chargers. You'll have a set to use in the batteries. So once your batteries are charged, you're going to install them in the signs. What you're going to want to do is go to the back of the speed sign cabinet, open it up. The battery sits on this shelf. Make sure the connectors are pointing out, not against the sign, because that may fray the wires. Also, your speed sign may have a bracket around here. Just go ahead and place it within the bracket. Once it's sitting there, you'll see the same connection for the battery up here. Go ahead, you can go ahead and connect the battery. Once the battery is plugged in, you can go through the options on the speed sign. When you first plug the battery in, the speed sign will take probably 30 to 60 seconds to turn on. You'll see the numbers in front kind of circling around. When that's done, these options will appear here in the window and it's ready to program. So this screen shows you what your current settings are. The radar is on. D is for data. This is the amount of data that's currently stored in the speed sign. B is for battery. Right now it's at full. It'll show you the % of battery, so it's a great way to check the batteries if you're just driving by and want to check the batteries on your speed signs before the weekend or something like that. And then it also shows the speed limit set and the current time. And if you forget what those settings are or want to read about all your different options, it comes with the manual that goes through all your different settings and options. You can go ahead and read through this and see all the capabilities of the speed sign. This will come with the sign. To program it, you're going to hit the setting button, and then when you get to each setting, you can use the up and down arrows to show to select and see the different options. If you take too long making a selection, it'll revert back to this home screen, but it'll save whatever settings you already have in there. So the first setting is the mode. Your options are the radar is always on, use it as a speed limit sign, demo mode, or it's on a timer. I recommend leaving it on radar on always. This means the speed sign is always operating. Your next setting is the posted speed limit. This is helpful for some of the settings and also for your stats. So use the up and down arrows to select your speed limit. For our road, it's 45 miles per hour. Next setting, the max speed displayed. This is to deter people for using these speed signs as a game. Some people may want to see how fast they can get it to go. So usually 15 to 20 miles per hour over is what your max speed displayed is. So if somebody is going over 65, it's not going to show their speed. It'll just show 65. Next setting, the display trigger. This is really up to you. We're going to go ahead and leave it. All vehicles it will show every speed of every vehicle going by. The speed limit will just show vehicles going over the speed limit. The trigger speed will just show vehicles going over a certain speed, whatever speed you set it as. We're going to go ahead and leave it for all vehicles. The next setting is your strobe. This has a white light that'll flash in certain situations, however you set it. In the front, it's really helpful to get drivers' attention, but will also wear down your battery a little bit more. We recommend probably a trigger speed or actually let's do speed limit. So basically any car going over the speed limit will set the strobe off. Your next setting is a relay trigger. We don't use that, so go ahead and turn that off. Your next setting is the output display. Your options are constant and blinking. Blinking is hard to read, especially if you have the strobe on, so we recommend constant. Your next setting will have you set the date and time. This is helpful for your statistics. Go ahead and hit the up arrow here to check it and to change it. Today's date is May 23rd, so that's correct. And the time is off, so I'll show you how to set the time. Hit setting until you get to the time, 9:55. Hit setting again, and our next option is the data storage. Right now we have data logging enabled. Your options are to turn it off or to leave it enabled. We recommend leaving it enabled. That way you can see your data after the signs have been out. Your next setting will clear the data that is previously in there. When you get the sign, we recommend doing this so you're not looking at somebody else's data when you download it. And you'll see it says press 2 ups to clear. So right now the memory is cleared. Our last option is the range where this speed sign picks up the vehicles. 1 is near, 7 is far. We recommend middle of the road, probably a 5 or a 6. Once you set it up, you can change this if it's not picking up vehicles where you want it to. And then if you hit setting again, we're back to the first option and we're done setting the options for this speed sign. Make sure to set the options for your second speed sign as well. Okay, we're out in the field now, ready to set up our speed signs. We want to pick a location beside the road that we have enough room to get the speed sign off of the road so large vehicles or errant vehicles don't accidentally hit this. This post is NC 350 compliant, so it is crash worthy and can go within the right-of-way or within your clear zone. So the ideal location is near an existing speed limit sign so the drivers can see the speed they're going on our speed sign and the speed they should be going on the speed limit sign. However, if you don't have a speed limit sign nearby, just find a flat spot on the road where you have some space where the stand and the sign can be stable. I've already flipped 3 of these legs down on this stand. There's just a small lever at the bottom. Push it down and the leg should come down. These legs are already extended out as far as possible. So just make sure it's level and stable. You can also add sandbags to it if you feel like you want some extra stability. Once we have the legs out, I'm going to remove this pin at the top. Hold on to it. Then you're going to flip this up. Make sure where it says front, and that's the front of the sign, that's the side that the sign goes on. This pin now goes in the second hole here and just connect it on the other side. Now this is ready to install the bracket for our speed sign. So the bracket for the back of the sign, or the bracket that attaches the speed sign to the post, may come separate or it may come already attached to the post. If it comes loose like this, you're going to want to take these screws out. Try not to drop the wing nuts, which I do all the time. Then you're going to line these up with these 2 holes here. So we have the bolts in the sign post. We're going to line up the bracket over the 2 holes. Then use the wing nuts to secure both of them. Okay, the next step before we put the sign on is to remove these 4 wing nuts. Again, taking care not to drop or lose them because we're going to need them here soon. And again, just a reminder, all the wing nuts should be on the inside when the sign is done. Okay, so when you get the speed signs, this sign, the your speed, is flipped down for transport. So you just undo these screws, flip it up so you can read the speed sign and place the screws right back in. Careful not to lose them. Once I have this flipped up, it's going to block my sign. So it really isn't a good location to put my stand. So I'm going to move it to right beside the speed limit sign. So I have a nice secure location here. I'm going to get my assistant to help me put the cabinet onto the post. Now, you want to line this up. So I'm going to open the cabinet door and Tino's going to hold the bulk of the weight there. I'm going to guide the back on. And it works best if you can line up all 4 holes at once. Put all 4 wing nuts on. Once these are completely tightened, you can go ahead and release the speed sign, and it's being held up by the stand. What you're going to do next is install the battery. Okay, remember when we put the battery in to make sure the terminals are facing out. So we'll put this on the lever. We'll connect it. We can go ahead and close it. We want to make sure that it's pointed down the road to pick up the cars. We may have to turn it and adjust it. That's why we haven't secured its final location yet. So you see our signs working, the strobe went off, and the radar here picked her up pretty far back. Now that we've tested it and we know this is a good secure location that's picking up traffic where we want, it's time to secure our speed sign. There's a hole in the bottom of the stand just for this purpose. There's a zip tie on one end of the chain so you can feed it through that hole easily. Now, you're going to want to secure it to something nearby. Luckily, we have the speed limit sign nearby, but you can use anything nearby. You don't want a lot of play in your chain because then somebody may come along and move it. So make sure to do it tight around one location. Lock it up tight at both locations. You're provided with 2 chains and 4 locks just for this purpose. The key to the locks is the master key on this when you need to unlock it. The other key is the key to the back of the cabinet of the speed sign. So now that we're done here, we'll make sure to lock the back of that cabinet. And take the key with you. We're done for now. The battery for this, the battery life on these signs will depend on a number of factors. The amount of traffic coming through, the weather. If it's really cold, it'll affect the life of the battery. And also all the settings, the different options that we talked about. Some take more battery than the others. For example, the strobes. So check on these. For a low volume road, you'll probably get a week. For a higher volume road, maybe 3 to 4 days. So check on these occasionally. Bring the fresh batteries out to change them, and then you're good to go.